Hey, good morning team. This is Nathan from RunDreamAchieve.com. Today's topic, I wanted to discuss some 6-minute mile training fundamentals. What do you need to do in order to finally get under that 6-minute mile barrier? We all come in different capacities and we all have different capabilities in this sport, and I know how difficult the mile is. When I was in high school, my brother talked me into coming out for the track team. I didn't know what event I was going to really focus on when I was in high school, and so I started off my running career in the mile. I ran the mile, the 2 mile, and the 800 meter in high school, or the 1600 meter, 3200 meter, and 800 meter events. So definitely running under 6-minute mile pace, you have to have a very strong capability in terms of being able to clear, like we talk about in other videos, clearing lactic acid, becoming very efficient at running at very fast paces, and being able to withstand that higher lactic acid buildup within the body as you're running faster, because the faster you're trying to run, the more anaerobic you're going to be, and the more your oxygen carrying capacity and being able to clear lactic acid faster than it's building up comes into play. And so the things that I want you to keep in mind when you're training out there, focus on consistent action. There's no easy process of running a sub 6-minute mile on the track or on the roads. You have to have a plan in place. I'm a big believer in personal development, so focusing on following a plan that is going to set you up for success. So you start taking out the guesswork out of that your preparation. You know exactly what you need to be doing on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And so that's why on RunDreamAchieve.com I do have training plans for athletes trying to go under the 6-minute mile barrier. Whether you're a miler all the way up to the marathon distance, I do have plans, training programs that I've created, and based off of almost 30 years of background in this sport. So a lot of the workouts that you'll be doing in those training plans, and as well as the running courses that I have, which are more, they're a combination of video tutorials, and the courses end with a 16-week training plan based on the topic of the course. So we do have marathon courses. I am currently working on a sub 5-minute marathon or sub 5-minute mile course as well for the athletes that are trying to go under 5 minutes. But I do believe that being able to know what you need to be doing for a short-term basis as well as a long-term basis is going to set you up for success going under the 6-minute mile barrier. You got to get to a point where you can do repeat miles on the track. You don't need to be doing a great deal of volume in regards to breaking a sub 6-minute mile on the track or on the roads. But if you can get to a point where you can do, say, anywhere from 3 to 4 1-mile repetitions either on the roads or on the track at around 6 minutes and 25 seconds to 6 minutes and 28 seconds, right around that area, you're going to be extremely competitive, very strong, because you've built up not only a capacity to run repetitions of repeat miles on the roads or on the track at those particular paces, which are still very competitive, very fast efforts, but they're slightly slower. They're about 20 to 25 seconds slower than your goal race pace. But because you're doing bulk work and you're doing those repetitions at slightly slower than goal race pace, it's going to make you very strong for being able to sustain 4 laps at that sub 6-minute mile effort. And so it's a combination of doing a lot of things. Okay, we talk about doing the long runs. You don't have to do crazy long runs for training for a sub 6-minute mile, as opposed to if you were training for a half marathon or a marathon, where you're starting, you're going out, anywhere from 25K to 30K in distance or longer, training for these long runs. For the mile, even when I was in high school, my long runs were anywhere from around 7 to 9 miles in length. Okay, that's really the sweet spot in terms of doing your long runs. But you do want to start spending a little bit more effort during those long runs at faster paces. So over the years, even when I was training for the mile in high school, I started running it. The first time I ran it 5:30. By the time I graduated, I ran 4:25 for the mile. My personal best is 4:22, so I do know the complexities and how difficult really the mile is, and you do need to continue to work and develop your speed. We all have a certain amount of our oxygen carrying capacity. We all have different capabilities in regards to that. Okay, so if you're limited in your ability to really turn over and really have that raw leg speed, like those sub 4 minute milers or sub 4:30 milers out there that really have a really strong amount of overall leg speed, you can always develop your speed. And to break a 6 minute mile, you do have to focus on acceleration drills. I talk about in other videos, whether you're training for the mile or the marathon, get accustomed to doing 5 to 6 100-meter strides on your easy days, okay? Because they're so short, you're not building up any significant lactic acid doing those strides, but you're focusing, they're real short accelerations that will help you develop that overall leg speed that you need, on top of doing your speed workouts, your tempo runs, which for a sub 6 minute miler, again, the anaerobic threshold effort is the point where we just start to build up lactic acid in the bloodstream. So it's that point where you just start feeling, the pain of running at a faster effort, but you're still running at an effort that's still sustainable, that you can handle for, several minutes to several miles at that effort. So it's not quite running at your VO2 max, which is maximum oxygen uptake. It's the point where you're running so fast. It's the sprint efforts we talk about, whether that's repeat 200s, repeat 100s, repeat 400s, 600s. It's, VO2 max is you're running so fast you can't clear that lactic acid fast and it's building up, and you start to shut down your muscle functioning capacity. That's when we stop, we take a breather, then we start the next repetition. So you want to do a combination of long runs, running very easy aerobic runs where so you can recover from your hard track sessions and hill repetitions and tempo runs and long runs, on top of doing those very hard speed sessions on the track or on the roads. But what's great about doing strides is, again, they're very explosive type activities. A combination of doing strides as well as the real hard speed sessions will help you recruit more fast twitch muscle fibers, and that will help you become more efficient at handling higher amounts of lactic acid, and so that you can get to a point where you can sustain that sub 6 minute mile pace for the entire effort and not just for a portion of the effort of your event. It's great to be on sub 6 minute mile pace for 3 laps of a 1 mile effort on the track, but if you slow down even the smallest amount, you're going to miss it. It's a difference between you being very efficient and training properly and doing a proper taper, which I believe a 10-day taper rather than a 3-week taper. If you set all of your training up correctly, it's the difference between running a 6:08 and a 5:54, or a 6:12 or a 5:52 or 5:49. And it's a mental game too. Okay, the mile is very hard. It's over like that. You have to be very strong mentally as well. Visualize yourself. I'm telling you, mental training is an overlooked piece of the puzzle that a lot of athletes take for granted. We get very focused and very zeroed in on our physical training, but we neglect really what's even more important, and that's the mental side of the sport. A sub 6 minute mile is not going to come easy. For a lot of athletes around the world, they're trying to get 5:59 or faster on that clock. And that's really what I want for you all. I want you all to start thinking more about quality over quantity, focusing on training smarter rather than harder. I know of a lot of athletes in my career and all of the years that I've been running that knew how to work hard. Okay, but the hardest workers don't always get the results. The smartest athletes that are really setting up their training properly, that are focusing on hydration, they always have a water bottle out there on the track or on the roads when they're doing their long runs or when they're doing their track sessions. They're paying attention to their nutrition. They're getting plenty of rest. They're not taking themselves seriously. So don't get so wrapped up in worrying about how many kilometers a week you're running or how many miles a week you're running. keep the enjoyment of your preparation at the forefront of your mind, okay? Still put in the work, but still find joy in what you're doing, because I think stress definitely will deteriorate an athlete's capability over the long term. You get very stressed out, your cortisol levels go higher, and you start worrying when you don't get the results as quickly as you would like. You have to be patient to run a sub 6 minute mile. Okay, so in this 6 minute mile training fundamentals video, I really want you all just to think about these concepts. Longer efforts during those long runs at a faster effort, preferably around 20 to 30 seconds slower than your goal sub 6 minute mile pace. So spend a little bit of time running in the 620s, 630s efforts, even if it's for a few minutes during that long run, and then get to a point where you can do, say if you're doing an 8 mile long run, get to a point where you can drop 2 to 3 miles of that 8 miler at around 630 mile pace, and then just back off the pace, back off to around 730 for a couple miles, then close with like a 620 mile. Okay, so it's very hard efforts. You don't just start off like this. So again, and that's not how I set up the training plans or the running courses on RunDreamAchieve.com at all. We focus on first building into the intensity of our effort. We focus on periodization, focusing on a specific effort for 3 to 4 weeks so the body adapts to that hard anaerobic effort. Then we move to the next intensity. So it's all about progression and focusing on the long term. I think a 4-month block of training is plenty of time to prepare for a sub 6 minute mile effort. And I really focus on 4 months, because I think if you spend a few weeks running very easy mileage, just nice and relaxed, then you build into a 16-week block of training, you're gonna be very, very efficient by the time you start to drop and do that 10-day taper. So I hope this video was helpful for you all in terms of thinking about what you need to be doing to run a sub 6 minute mile, and what you need to think about in terms of your 6 minute mile training preparation. So if there's any other questions or concerns, leave me a comment below the video. If you're new, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so when I make a new video, you'll be notified of it. And I wish you all the best. Keep me posted on your progress. I really want to hear when you run that sub 6 minute mile. And I wish you all the best, and I'll talk to you soon.